Are you ready to get your feet wet? Because this is the Knowledge Pool, hosted by Gathering Information. We're here to bring you a casual conversation between friends about everything to do with collecting, trading, and playing Magic the Gathering.
I am Tams.
I am Step.
And I am Laura.
So put on your bathing suits and dive right into the Knowledge Pool.
Hello and welcome to episode 33.
Of the Knowledge Pool. I was going to jump in there first before either one of you, but you are just way too fast.
So this is going to be a joint effort?
I never start, so I was like...
The whole cast is going to be an effort.
Yes.
Look, I do the show notes mostly and make sure we have all the news up to date. Tams provides us with tea, which is very important, and we rely on you to keep track of the episode number.
Which I do.
We really don't do much, do we?
Every one of our English listeners is wagging their finger at you.
For
Never
what?
mind.
Preparing us tea?
For saying that preparing tea is no
that's
important matter.
Basically the most important of all.
That's true. So,
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
how you guys doing?
Yeah.
What's new? What's happening?
I can't hear anything. Maybe we should just continue.
So, do we want to start with news or do we want to start with what we've been up to?
I think news is going to take a while, so
Yes.
maybe we should talk about what we've been up to. Hey, Laura, what have you been up to this week?
Oh, nothing. Except for League.
Yeah!
We had our League opening tournament on Saturday and then our first week of League on Tuesday.
Yeah, this is kind of the big League week because it's 2 League events between episodes. So
Yes.
plenty going on.
So,
I should really have my deck in front of me. I know what's in it.
I have to say, I'm kind of torn on the opening tournament just because we had a bunch of people who were not in the League and who were not planning on being in the League at the tournament.
Yeah, that was weird.
So, kind of the problem is just that it feels really bad losing to someone when the results of their win isn't going to matter to them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it meant something to the prize structure of the
it's
tournament.
a net negative,
Yeah.
right? So, on the other hand, it meant that, well, actually, on the still negative end, it also meant that we were very crowded. So, on the positive end, there were more people there, but I don't know if, maybe we should just revisit the number of people who are not in the league who can come instead of just having it be up to the maximum number of people who can fit in the shop. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just-
I don't know.
And again, I still have fun. It's a sealed tournament. I love sealed tournaments, and I don't mind that there are people there. It just felt kind of weird, and I'm just not sure how I feel about it.
Were there enough rounds for the number of people? I think there were. Yeah,
I would think
it was
so.
4 rounds.
4 rounds.
I think that was
That's-
plenty.
But there were...
Probably 22.
Yeah, so there should have been a 5th round. Whatever. Apparently those things don't matter.
So, what'd you guys play and how'd you do?
Oh. Let's start with me and Tams' demoralizing Saturday.
Oh.
Tams and I were sitting next to each other and we both opened garbage.
I ran a blue-black pirate merfolk vampire deck.
Yay!
You had some synergy, didn't you?
I did, actually. I did. It was miserable in so much as I went 1 and 3. The deck itself was passable. I did have the black-blue pirate dude who does the thing. What does he do?
He grows when you have artifacts and he can create...
Yes.
Treasure.
Yeah,
Yes. So that was okay. But it just wasn't the best deck. And I had really bad matches. And the one that I did win, I was like, eh. So it was kind of miserable.
And some of your opponents were playing multiples of dive downs.
Yeah, and
Some
Laura.
of your opponents.
And so my problem with my pool initially was, for example, I got 2 copies of Ryle, which is okay.
I had 3 demolishes.
But I have no other real decent red at the time. I had virtually no removal in my pool, period. I had a little bit in black, but nothing above 3.
And the problem that both you and I encountered was that we both ended up with multiples of terrible comments.
I had 2 fogs,
Yeah.
which really made me happy.
I
excited.
ended up with more triplicate cards in
Yeah.
the 8 packs that we've opened than I've ever seen in my entire life.
I did notice that, and I said something about that in the article that's going up on the website tonight.
And, like, it's fine if they're territorial hammer throws or something, but
Sure, I would have been
with,
happy.
I ended up with 3 demolishes, 3 of the white enchantment killers,
Yeah.
3 frenzied raptors, and I'm not in red.
So what were you running?
I went with blue-green merfolk dinosaur pirates.
And that was basically because you decided you wanted to play blue-green, right?
Well, I looked at my pool, and I could not figure out for me what direction I was supposed to be going in, and I still have no idea what direction I'm supposed to be
Sounds
going
like
in.
my pre-release.
I built about 6 different decks in various color combinations. The problem is that I have a few really good cards in each color, but I have so many duplicates of terrible commons that I just don't have the bulk of the cards to fill out my curve in almost every combination.
Yeah.
So I just said, screw it, blue-green's my favorite, I'm gonna go with it. And I think that was the right decision. Once I curved it out, I was like, oh, actually, this is a bit stronger than I thought it was going to be. And I think it's just because it's annoying. Like, blue-green has hexproof. I'm running at least 1 dive down. I can side into 2 more, because I have triplicates of that one as well. I don't really have removal, because I have 0 green removal, so all of my removal's in blue, which is bounce. Or counter spells or stuff like that. But I do have 3 of the 6 mana green dinosaur trampler, the 6/6.
The
Again,
colossal
triplicates. And, so I have an air elemental. I have a fair amount at the top end. And then I have just enough explore to kind of get me there, except Saturday didn't really get me there. I had to mold a 5 multiple times, and then I got screwed multiple times. Even though, statistically speaking, with 17 lands and multiple 2 and 3 drop explore creatures, I probably should have been fine. So, I went 2 and 2. I'm very confused about my deck. My deck is very confused. I opened a couple of packs since then. I'm still very confused. My deck is still very confused.
Okay, I was going to ask about that, actually, because, like, Tams, you said your pool was rather mediocre. In the sealed portion. How much changed when you opened that 1 extra pack?
Oh boy. So now my deck is kick-ass. So I went 1 and 3 at the tournament. And last night at League I went
3 and 1.
3 and 1. 3 and 1. And I could have won if I hadn't had to mull so terribly. To be fair, my opponent has a really sweet deck. And it was a struggle anyway, but I mulled to 5, and I still held out for quite a while, but he just ended up
I love that
getting
feeling
there.
when you mull the 5 and you still,
almost
hang in
get there.
Yeah, so what I wound up figuring out once I opened my pack and just sat everything out is I had last night before I opened my next pack 16 merfolk.
And you also got your trades in this week.
I did get my trades in.
Yeah.
So on top of having, I have 2 Tishana's Wayfinders, which is just pretty okay with the Explorer. I have 2 Shapers of Nature,
so that's
which is the 4 mana to put a +1/+1 counter. It's a 3/3 for 3, which is phenomenal to start with, and then you can put a counter on, or you can remove 1 to draw a card.
I keep thinking that's a 2/2 for 3, and it's still
No,
great.
you're thinking of the rare.
Yeah, but
I have 2 of the Storm Sculptors, which are the ones that can't be blocked. I have...
they bounce a thing, right?
Yes. Wait.
And actually, I have one of those as
No,
well.
they bounce one of your own creatures.
Yeah, one of your own creatures. I have one of those as well. I'm usually fine with it, because then you get another Explorer trigger.
Well,
you get
what
to
I'm...
put more counters on things.
What I'm using it for is I have 2 Water Trap Weavers.
Yeah.
So, and I also have the 4 mana one that taps down the Tempest Caller that taps down everything.
I have one of those too.
Yeah.
I have 2 of the Hexproof Jade Guardians. I also have one of the... Where are you? I have 2 Shapers Apprentice. I have a 1 with the Wind. I have 2 of the 3 the Siren Lookouts. No, I have 1, and that's the only thing I'm running that isn't a Merfolk. Just for the Explorer and the flying, and the fact that it gets a counter. So what ends up happening... Oh, and the thing that kind of is the pièce de résistance is the Herald of Secret Streams, which is 3 and a blue for a 2/3 Merfolk at rare. Creatures you control with a +1/+1 counter on them can be blocked.
That was your promo, right?
Yes. No. Yes, it is.
It's very pretty, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the
So
merfolk are.
what happened last night is I'm suddenly dropping all of these either innately unblockable creatures or creatures that explore and suddenly get a counter, or one of my 2 creatures that put counters on things, and suddenly I have this huge board that is unblockable. Now, the downside so far is the lack of removal. I am running a run aground, which bounces something to somebody's library, which oftentimes is enough to win.
Yeah.
I have an emergent growth, which is the 5/5 lure, which I'm using as removal because it gets pretty sweet. And then I have the 3-drop Crash the Ramparts.
I feel like we've been kind of spoiled because the last couple of sets, green in particular, has had very good removal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the cartouche strength and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
And in this one, they have pounce or they have this stomp.
I underestimated the lure until I put, +5/+5 on my 3/3, and I'm luring their 6/6 into it, and their creature dies. Now, what's helping enable me to be able to kind of manipulate that situation a lot better is I have the thematic compass, which thank you, Steph, for telling me I should probably run it, because I'm going longer game than I expected to. So what's happening is once I hit 7 land, I can flip this and tap down one of their attacking creatures.
It becomes the Maze of Ish, right?
Yeah. So what I can do is kind of control more what they're able to do or not do.
Or
tap down their biggest thing.
If they're then not attacking you, you can remove one of your attackers from harm.
Yeah.
If it's going to be blocked by something that will kill it, right?
Exactly. So I'm very, very happy.
I underestimated the thematic compass originally, and then somebody played it against me at the league tournament, and I'm like, no, that's actually just real good.
I watched a game at league where another one of the players had that, and his opponent was in big stompy dinosaurs, and he was just stuck. He couldn't do anything because he only had a couple of smaller dinosaurs, and then his big guy, who was going to get mazed of it.
Yeah. So for this week, I opened a pack last night. And I got another Water Trap Weaver, which I'm going to trade out. I have one other non-merfolk other than the flyer, so that's going out. So I also got another Crash the Ramparts, another Emergent Growth, and then I also got Kapala. Now, normally I'd be like, meh, but considering every creature but one in my deck, and I'm very, very creature heavy, is merfolk. What it reads is merfolk spells your opponent casts that target a merfolk you control cost 2 more to cast. Abilities your opponent activate that target a merfolk you control cost 2 more to cast. So for me, those 5 mana destroy target creature spells that were getting me last night are going to cost them 7 if they want to cast.
And that's a big difference.
Yeah.
It's going to give me a little more time.
Yeah.
So
at all,
I'm very happy to have her. So this league is looking up for me.
Yeah, and my problem is just that in the 2 packs that I opened, I opened good cards. I got to settle the wreckage in one of my packs, and
nice.
I also got one of the blue-black pirates and things like that. But I still just don't have enough outside of a blue-green merfolk deck to make a deck of 2 colors with my cards, and my blue-green merfolk deck is mediocre.
Yeah.
It may be that right now you're supposed to be 3 colors, and
But the problem is I don't like that. I've not had very good success specifically in this format. Running 3 colors.
There are a few 3-colored decks in the league, and some are better than others.
And I don't have fixings. If I had a New Horizon or something like that, I'd be more interested. But
that's fair.
Boy, those are going highly right now. I think I've had 3 people say to me, if you open one, you can pass it this way.
You're like, I'm green, dude.
No.
And you like counters anyway.
Yeah.
So, the problem is that next week is week 2. That's the cap. So by next Friday, we'll need to got all of our trades in for the first trimester. I still don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And the number of people who have open trade points is going to decrease fairly rapidly.
It's true.
So.
I mean, opening one more pack before you make your trades is possible, but it's difficult, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I can try and trade in to the blue-green merfolk deck, except I think I would need a lot.
I think there are 3 of them in the league right now, and it's tough when there's a deck that is that sought after.
Right. I could try and build into white-black vampires, because I have a lot of the top end for it, but I have 0 2-drops in either color.
I noticed that. Well, okay, so my league experience
Yes.
I haven't talked about yet. My biggest problem with my league pool is my lack of 2-drops.
Yeah.
But
Especially because this format is quite quick.
yeah,
And, like, you need to have something.
yeah, which is why I chose the secondary color that I chose for my pool. Anyway, my opening tournament deck was, I think, the best deck probably opened. So
Sick brags, man.
thank you to the Magic gods for my pool, because I was running...
Thank me, because I got handed both boxes and I was like, you can have this one.
And yeah, you also would have loved my deck.
No,
so.
I'm happy with this. It's something different that I haven't played, so
That's true,
I'm excited.
actually.
Yeah.
So, in the opening tournament, I was running 6 rares, 5 of which were red.
You suck.
7 pieces of removal, all of which were red. And
several of which were rare.
Yeah, and just a few big stompy creatures, like very few of which were green. So I was red-green, but I was I had 2 of the rare, the Repeating Barrage,
Yep.
and 2 of the Cannon Fire Blasts. So my 3-drop slot was full of just removal, and then I also had a Lightning Strike.
Of course.
Oops. So what I was missing was 2-drops. So I ended up in the opening tournament running 2 of those O3s that explored for 2, because I just need something. And also getting extra land was, a good thing. When I had Vance's Blasting Cannons, which is going to draw me extra cards, and a Captivating Crew, which... If you can get to 8 mana, you can activate twice, and it reads...
you have a tough life.
I know.
That is such an annoying card.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
Oh
I
my
also
gosh.
have a what's the red avatar?
Avatar of the Burning Sun?
Yeah, Burning Sun's avatar, or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's red, and 3 for a 6/6 that when it enters the battlefield deals 3 damage to target creature and 3 damage to target player.
Yeah.
So that and a Colossal Dreadmaw were my top end, and I was very happy with my deck there.
Yeah.
I have since taken out the Colossal Dreadmaw for more red stuff.
So how did you go for how did it...
So for the opening tournament, I went 3-1. Mostly just thanks to the Captivating Crew coming down on turn 4, and then my opponent with an empty board going,
I hate you.
I don't know what to do. Like, you can't play a creature into that. You can maybe play 2 creatures into that.
You can play the O3 into that.
Yeah.
Or a hexproof creature.
Yeah.
Hope you got one of those handy.
But it's one of those things where you drop that on an empty board, and if they play a creature, you steal it and hit them with it.
Yeah.
So it's... I was not having a very tough life at all. If you want full details, I did a write-up, and it's going live on the website tonight, so go check that out at the...
Links will be down below.
We didn't write out our links again. We need to do that so that we
The links are down below.
have them. But yeah, I had a whole lot of fun.
And then how'd Tuesday go?
Tuesday, I had traded for a red 2-drop, Tillinali's Knight, and a...
Are you going to say it right? The other card that you traded for?
Captain
Lannery
Storm!
I love that name. It's so good.
Which I was not sure if I wanted another 3-drop, because my 3 slot was already real full. But it's a very good 3-drop. She's a 2/2 with haste, and when she attacks, she makes a treasure. And anytime you sack a treasure, which I had read this wrong every time I read the card. I thought it was sacrifice a treasure to give her +1/+0.
Ah, no.
No, it's anytime you sacrifice a treasure, she gets +1/+0.
Yes.
So she makes a treasure on turn 3 when she's attacking, and they're like, you can just trade her with my X3. Maybe I'll just take 2. Are you going to sack that treasure? No? Okay. And then I held on to the treasure until I needed it, which I sacked 2 treasures one time to put a Sure Strike on her. Gave her +5 and First Strike. that was the end of the game. So
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. So, where did you wind up for the opening tournament?
So for the opening tournament, I actually came in second, right below the guy who I lost a match to. And that felt pretty good because the match I did lose, there was a little bit of mana issues. Also, I made one big boneheaded mistake, which you can go and read about.
Yes, you did.
But all in all, I mostly played really well with this deck, which was just like any competent pilot should have been able to get a fairly strong finish out of it.
And how'd you do this week at League?
This week at League, I went 2-2, so I actually did worse. But I think
You also
that
had
was just variance.
You also had all of the mediocre decks avoiding you at all costs.
That's true. Somebody had told everyone that I had the best deck, and
Yeah,
that
it was
wasn't
you
me.
on Saturday because you were bragging about it every time you were asked about it. You're like,
when I
oh,
was
well,
asked.
I'm only playing good cards. This is the best deck I've ever opened. I should at least go 3-1 with this deck. I love my life.
It was
My life
also
is amazing.
Judge John telling everybody on the other side of the room how I was going to win the tournament because he saw my pool.
Yes.
And I'm like, I came up against my third round opponent, and they're like, "You're not 2-0," and I'm like, "No."
Sure.
'cause- Anyway,
Yeah.
To be fair, the person who beat you also has a pretty sick deck.
he does, and he's one of these people who somehow manages to turn his combat tricks into removal, like every single time.
He's a green player.
And he's a very good player, too.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny though. You and I have the same record now overall. We're both
Yep.
5-3.
Yep.
Because I went 3-1 on Tuesday. And I think that my deck is very inferior to yours.
Hey,
I
it's a
have-
game of variance.
I have no removal. I have mostly top end.
You have a lot of evasion?
I have a lot of evasion.
No, that'll
so
do it.
I guess that makes up for it, but I think it'll be interesting to see how this league goes. Because I'm
think so,
pretty
too.
sure it's already converging very strongly along tribal lines, just like the Innistrad one did.
And it's funny because I thought that it was going to be a big tribe-heavy set, especially in League. Like, that's where tribes are going to flourish, right?
Yes.
But in my case, I'm actually just going as close to mono-red as possible.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I can have better mana than my opponent, that's my game plan.
Oh, and it's
know?
it's a good plan
Yeah.
with this particular format, I think. And that's the reason I don't want to go 3 colors if I can
Yeah,
help it at
that's
all.
fair.
But yeah, I think it'll be kind of interesting to see how it goes. I strongly suspect that the next couple of weeks will be really telling.
Yeah, I think so. I really want to do the before week 3 or week 4?
Week 4.
Before week 4, look at each other's pools.
Yes.
Because,
It was pretty valuable last time.
yeah, it'll be fun, I think. So,
And I'll get to watch you guys just scratch your heads going, God, Laura, your pool is terrible. And we'll be going, God, Step, your pool is amazing.
We hate you.
it's not my fault. It's Tams' fault. She passed it to me.
It's true. It's true.
Have we been doing anything else? Magic?
No, I don't think so, because we've been super busy with stuff.
I did something.
What did you do?
did?
I have been building a Highlander deck.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So, I have a friend, well, an acquaintance on Facebook who has poked me recently and said, "Hey, I hear you were interested in Highlander. We should get a group together." I'm like, okay. So, I am modding my mono-red Goblins Commander deck into a Highlander deck because I think that's the easiest way not to spend money on a deck.
I think you're right.
So that's going to be interesting. Any chance I could convince you two ladies to put together something?
Probably. Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, I could be down for that. We'll have to look at our stuff. It'll probably be some sort of ridiculously stupid mono black monstrosity that
I
doesn't
think
work.
it'll be fun.
So it'll be every cube deck you've ever played.
Basically.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'd be cool. More updates on that when it actually happens.
So we do have a lot to talk about as far as news goes,
Oh,
surprisingly.
yeah.
All right, let's dive right into it.
First up,
What's going on
so
in
this
the world of Magic?
coming weekend is the Dino Draft.
Not just any Dino Draft.
So it is the Dino-sized weekend. So
Okay.
October 28th to 29th. Step, you're very interested.
I am. I have been ever since I heard about it.
So what is it?
It's simply a draft with one extra booster pack. So you'll be drafting 4 packs of Ixalan rather than the usual 3. So dino size is like just giant. I think the reason they're doing this is probably to test, 4-pack draft, but also
To sell boosters?
well, yeah. 3 packs in a tribal set I didn't think was going to be enough for the tribes to really shine. Turns out that's not actually the case. Like, you can get a really good tribal deck if your
Quick
draft
enough?
pod
Cooperates? Yeah.
But in the case of just a random draft, I think 4 packs, everyone will be able to get a tribe if they're after one.
That's true. I mean, I don't know if I'd be happy if they decided to implement this, like, going forward. I assume they're not.
I assume that it's one of those things they want to try out, and, I mean, dino size, it's...
Yeah, like, whatever. It's a novelty draft format, sure. Should be fun. So they're also offering up posters and stuff like that, or
Are they?
oversized cards.
Oh, that's right. There's a poster that goes to the winner. I don't remember what it looks like.
But I'm sure you can find it on the internet somewhere.
I do remember that they did a 4-booster draft format for Unhinged when it came out. There was 2 packs of Unhinged and 2 packs of Unglued.
That must have been really funny.
I imagine so. I don't know anyone who did it, but it sounded hilarious when Mark Rosewater talked about it.
Yeah. So, continuing on with the story, this is all part of the year-end draft series promotion.
So this is the part that I know nothing about.
Right. So basically it's a 10-week promotion, and the final prize will be 2 standard showdown boosters for
Cool.
every player who drafts at least 6 times during the 10-week period.
Sweet.
So it starts on October the 28th. It goes until December the 10th-ish. It involves the Dino-Sized Weekend, drafting at an F&M in November, the Iconic Draft Weekend in November, so the first time you get to draft with Iconic Masters. Drafting at F&M in December, which I guess is kind of not great for anybody whose F&M is standard. I know ours is draft, but some do have standard or
That's
master
true.
or modern or commander. So, and then they also have the Unstable Draft Weekend in December.
Oh, I totally want to do that.
We're setting some money aside for that one, right?
For the unstable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Also, on December the 8th, I think, is when they're doing the pre-release for Unstable. LRR is doing it.
Is it?
Yeah. With
And
Mara.
with Mark Rosewater, so I'm going to be watching that when I
course you
can.
are. So, if you are a drafter, this is a good chance to own those, or to get a copy of those standard showdown boosters that you can't get if you don't do standard.
That's really
Totally.
cool, actually.
So, I think it's interesting, and we'll see how it goes. But next up is, I guess we're going to talk about card stock.
Okay.
So,
Hey, look, I've got a magic card here.
So to kick things off, Wizards on last Friday the 20th, announced that a number of non-foil double-sided Ixalan cards in a bunch of languages were printed on the wrong cardstock, so they don't pass the blue, or they don't have the blue in the middle when you look through it.
The blue paper, yeah.
Yeah. So, but, sorry, they're real. You can play with them in tournaments. Our apologies.
I feel like with something like that, that specifically is a tournament problem. Like, I know you're supposed to use completely opaque sleeves, but at tournaments you should also be able to use unsleeved cards.
Yes.
Right?
That's true.
And in this case, the blue paper is there not only to prove that they're actual magic cards, but to make them completely opaque. Mm-hmm. And so there's a chance that you will be able to see through these cards when they're sitting on your library. Not a great chance, but when they're sitting on top of your
lighting
library.
can be weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Or in your hand.
So or in your hand, which is more important.
Mm-hmm.
So that feels really awkward, and it feels to me like this specifically is something that Wizards should be offering a replacement program for.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was kind of weird because they do that for cards that have been damaged,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So, or why would they not? So Wizards said that it was, a very small percentage. But
Okay.
either they are misrepresenting that, or it's really regionally based, because a lot of people are saying literally everyone that I've opened, or 95% of the ones that I've opened, which obviously is anecdotal.
Could have been like a specific printing, and they
Yeah.
were like, oops, we gotta fix this. But
Yeah, so in that case it might just be regional based, but in that case it's kind of interesting that it was to 5-6 different languages.
Yeah.
So Wizard's statement on this then prompted several other people to say, this was not the cardstock announcement that we wanted.
Nope.
And to be fair, this is an important announcement for them to make.
Well, yeah, because otherwise people would assume that their double-sided cards were forgeries when they just opened them fresh out of the pack.
Yeah. But also, people have been complaining about cardstock quality issues for
Over a year. You're not wrong. So, specifically, Saffron Olive posted a bunch of pictures that are really bad, especially because some of the very curved ones were non-foil. Foils notably having been worse, generally speaking. And then the professor at Tolarian Community College also posted a video. I think it's kind of interesting that people are starting to complain now. Or at least the professor said he was expecting them to have addressed it for Ixalan, because Amonkhet was where the quality took a huge nosedive. But since they haven't, he wanted to say something now, which is fine. I think that a number of people have been complaining about this for many, many months.
What I think is that the reason it took certain people so long to actually complain about it is that Wizards of the Coast has a lot of goodwill built up in its community because they've generally been so good about stuff like this. And so we were willing to give them some time to address it.
Fair enough.
But now that they haven't for over a year...
And yeah, they just haven't even mentioned it.
Everyone's getting it.
And that's something that I want to mention, is we talked about this...
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and again a few months ago, about when things happen. Generally speaking, Wizards has been so good about saying, okay, hey, there's this problem. We're dealing with it. Here's what's happened. Here's why it happened. Here's how it's going to affect you. Here's what we can do to fix it and how we can help you feel better about it.
And when there are like leaks or fake news items, they say nothing at all because that's good policy.
Yeah.
You know, until...
Well, and good legal policy,
Yeah.
you would assume. But I don't know, I'm thinking back to that time where they were like, yeah, no changes to the standard ban list. And then 3 days later they're like, oh, by the way, we're banning.
And from things like that, to go on with the same point, is that they should have learned that people are far more likely to be understanding and forgiving of a company who is quick to admit here's an issue, which leads me to speculate, as you have, Laura, that perhaps this is not a quote-unquote problem, but a potential new standard of quality that they have decided to go with, which is what I'm hoping is not the case.
Yeah. So we're getting into the whole conversation about the cardstock quality of a trading card game, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
So who wants to start that conversation?
It's your bread and butter, guys. It's like Fabergé eggs. You're selling them and having them that after 2 months, if you have them in a certain type of light, they explode.
You know what it's exactly like? Let me use a very, very current example. It's kind of like Sears. You went to Sears because their appliances were great. They had a lifetime warranty. They always worked. They were with Craftsmaster. They were amazing. Their quality was great. And then slowly they started not being quite as good. The quality went down. The warranty stopped being lifelong. And now Sears is bankrupt.
Yeah.
Because the reason everybody went there no longer lived up to the quality that everybody was expecting.
Yeah.
That sounds like a segue into another issue we're going to talk about.
Well, just wrapping up a little bit. I know that Wizards is focusing a lot on digital these days. It's hard to miss.
Possibly too much.
If they start emphasizing digital over paper, I'm not going to be playing Magic as much. I don't like playing it digitally. It's a social experience for me.
Yeah,
absolutely, me too. Yeah. Now, I want to play devil's advocate a little bit here. I love the quality of Magic cards over the years. I have enjoyed playing the game partially because it felt like a grown-up product. Mm-hmm. You know, it felt like something real that was an all ages but targeting
higher quality,
an intelligent human being rather than a toy for children. I look at the quality of Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and it's crap paper.
Yeah.
Like, especially Yu-Gi-Oh cards, it looks like something that got cut out of the back of a cereal box. I'm sorry, Yu-Gi-Oh players. I'm not commenting on the game here. I'm commenting on the cardstock quality. Magic has always had that higher standard. And these new cards, even with all their problems, they're still a higher quality than that. But I don't...
For how long?
It's a problem of a sliding scale, slippery slope scenario of how much can you let your quality dip and still have everything that people come to you for. I don't know.
I don't buy foils.
I have never really liked foils or cared about foils, and I wondered when they introduced the rare dot if it was going to affect the quality of the cards. You know, the new, like...
The hologram thing.
The foil dot. And I hadn't seen it doing that for the first few sets, so I was like, okay, whatever. But then even, like, commons started... non-foil commons started having this problem.
Yeah, they're getting pretty bad. Like, even just the basic lands you get in a land pack.
Mm-hmm.
So do we think with high-level content creators now starting to rail and start to throw their voices into the community, do we think that Wizards is finally going to have to say something? I think
it'll be one of two things. If this is actually just a problem, we know that they've had problems with printers in the past, you know, leaks, and just there have been a number of misprints and like ink issues over the last few sets, that sort of thing. If that's what it is, I think this might make them make a statement, even if the statement is something like, yes, we acknowledge that there's a problem, it'll be fixed for Dominaria, which they might have been holding off on if they think that will tank their sales for Rivals of Ixalan. But if this is what it's going to be going forward, they might just not make a statement.
I have other concerns about the financials of this. If it is that they're using a cheaper printer or a cheaper cardstock or whatever in order to save money, you have to wonder where that money's going.
Yeah.
And if it's that they're putting out so many more products or spending so much more time on R&D, then that's one thing. But my paranoia tells me that their parent company might have something to do with it more than Wizards themselves.
Yeah,
and
that's crunch.
Why they've been quiet on the issue. And if that's the case, like, Hasbro's a big company and Wizards is a subsidiary, and I've never felt great about that relationship, but there's not really much anyone can do about it.
And my other concern is something that came up actually the last time Wizards had big communication issues, which is, generally speaking, Morrow is the voice of the company. This is absolutely not something in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, like, he's the R&D guy. He's the Magic the Game guy.
Yeah, he has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Who would they get to make a statement?
Who knows? Like, I have no idea.
Like, they don't have a Wizard spokesperson.
No, not on the... I mean, they've
not
got...
an official person where that's all that they do.
They've got community managers, but not for, like, the physicality of the game, as far as I know.
Yeah,
no.
Which might be something that they've overlooked. Like, if you don't have someone to direct your complaints to about this very important part of the game, maybe that is a problem.
It would be someone in the marketing department.
Maybe.
Probably.
Well, it's definitely going to be a story that we keep our eye on and follow because it affects all of us who play Paper Magic.
Yeah. And because we care.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to be able to have these cards in 20 years and still be able to play with them.
I have 20-year-old cards, and
Me
they're
too.
still great.
Yeah.
Probably much better than your Amonkhet ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the next up, story-wise, if we're all ready to move
Yep,
on from
absolutely.
here.
Yep.
Just something kind of interesting that I saw. People who don't follow the toys industry that might not realize that Toys R Us, the big toy-selling conglomerate,
With the
recently
Toys R Us
filed for
stuff?
bankruptcy. And
I did not know that.
yeah, so that is one of the major places where Hasbro sells their other stuff,
Ah.
like their Monopolies and their Legos or whatever.
Interesting.
Recently, especially if you want to look it up, I'm going just by the Routers article. They've warned of a weaker than expected forecast that sent Hasbro shares down by 10%.
It's funny because I just saw a Toys R Us flyer like yesterday, and I was like, "Huh, Toys R Us, that's still around," because it's one of those dependable things that's always going to be there.
Apparently not.
So yeah, so Hasbro gets like 10% of its revenue through Toys R Us.
That's a sizable chunk.
Yeah, other major companies that are being affected are things like Mattel
Yeah.
and Jack Specific, which I assume provides other sorts of toys.
Okay.
And so, yeah, their Toys R Us is really in debt. And so they're saying that it won't necessarily affect next year, but this year's Christmas profits are way down from expected.
So are
For
people,
Hasbro.
do they know what's going on? Is it that people are just going online or to other places to get their toys now instead of shopping at...
I never shopped at Toys R Us.
I always found it slightly overpriced, to be honest.
Never shopped there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I
we're
went
probably
in-
the wrong audience. None of us
Yeah.
have kids.
that's true.
I have been in Toys R Us once in the last 10 years because I was looking for board games.
That's
and
right. I once went in there to get a 3DS game because
Yeah.
nobody else in town had it.
I
Literally
went there to
nobody
buy
else.
a World of Warcraft game card because they were slowly becoming difficult to find.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So none of those things I can't imagine were very high profit.
probably
Items.
not.
And when I went in there, I found that their staff didn't know anything about board games, and
Which is sad.
yeah,
But I think also it's just that they're massive stores.
yeah, they've got way too much stuff all in one store. People are getting away from the "let's go one place for everything" mentality and going more into I want someone who really knows about this thing. I'm going to go somewhere that specializes.
Yeah, and I think part of that is just like you said, Tams, about the online market. If you want a one-stop shop, it's Amazon
Yeah.
Yeah.
or something similar to that.
There are all sorts of other stores coming out of like Asia and places like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
Yeah.
where you can get things
Dirt
so incredibly
But
cheap
if
that
if you want to actually talk to somebody who has played the game and you don't trust random stranger on Reddit,
yeah,
then you absolutely will just go into a store.
Which I think is a good thing overall. Like, if there are more specialty stores, then people are getting better advice and probably better prices for the specific thing they're after.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily better prices. I mean, if I'm going into a brick and mortar store, I fully expect to pay a bit more than I would pay online.
Okay.
But I'm usually willing to make that trade-off if I do want to have the chance to, interact with somebody before purchasing.
And you can get it right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, hi,
Hey, Draft Cat.
Salem agrees.
So, I don't know. I am sad for all of the people peripherally related to Toys R Us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Next up, what do we want to talk about? Let's continue on with depressing news and
Okay.
talk about the holiday gift packs.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I found the professor of Tulare Community College's video hilarious.
He's a bit skeptical
Uh-huh.
about the new holiday gift pack item.
By the way, and maybe this is going to rub some people the wrong way, but when I watch the Tulare Community College videos, Laura, you got me onto this.
Oh yeah.
I speed them up to 1.25% speed,
Oh, yeah.
or time speed, just because he is very slow about talking, and
He's very
so
concise with his words.
even though precise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
that
less
too.
concise.
He's an English prof.
Even though he's doing really good quality content, I just want it a little faster. So you might want to try that if you aren't a fan of Tolarian Community College.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically the gift pack is a poster, 3 booster packs, one of the last 3 most recent sets.
And the poster looks to be like, I don't know, the size of a mouse pad or an 8.5 by 11.
Yeah, it's not super big.
It's
And
not
also, I didn't love the art.
No.
It was like some people fighting a weird-looking Nicole Bolas.
It was a weird piece of
thing.
Bristol board that I wouldn't bother hanging up.
There is a foil, normal art, Carrie Zeb. A foil, normal art, metalwork Colossus, total value between the two of about $3.30. And 1 foil basic land of each type. Those ones are actually really nice looking. I don't remember the artist's name, but
No, they were fantastic though.
But on the other hand, you're going to want more than one.
Yeah.
So you're probably better off buying them on the internet.
And I think also important is no foil monkey token.
Yes.
Yeah.
No monkey token
no
at all.
Ragavan.
And the whole thing's retailing for what? It was $20, $19.99
American. Yeah.
American. So $30 Canadian.
And did you mention the 3 boosters?
I did. Yes.
Did you mention the spin down life
No,
gather?
my apologies. You will get yet another spin down to add to your collection.
Yeah. Very important.
So the comparison right now is between this and the gift boxes of yore that we used to get, and we're hoping that they're not the replacement.
Yeah.
But the Christmas box that you used to get, you actually got a box, and you got some really great sorting tools within it.
Yeah, I really always liked the dividers.
Yeah, the dividers were fantastic, beautiful art, and
you
good
got
and
more
sturdy,
packs.
and you got
And they
more
were
packs.
plastic dividers, not cardboard dividers.
They were very nice.
Just very nice.
Yeah, so I'm not impressed with this at all.
I mean, I'm not assuming that this is a replacement for that. I'm assuming this is something else.
You mean given how much extra product they're pushing out there anyway?
Yeah, I mean, if I don't see a holiday gift box this year, then I'm going to revisit this.
Sure.
But right now, what it looks like, because even the professor said that it looks like a Pokemon product, like exactly like a Pokemon product.
It bore a remarkable similarity.
One of the things that people don't usually think about from Walmart is that they commission specific things for their shelves from toy developers.
Yeah.
So, like, they used to do the booster battle packs for Magic the Gathering, where you got 2 pre-constructed decks, it was like 30 cards, and then 2 boosters. And so you and a friend could make these decks by taking a deck and a booster and putting them together. It was a neat product. It wasn't worth it for a collector, but it was fine. That was something that specifically Walmart asked Wizards for, a 2-player experience, you know? This looks like Walmart went to Wizards of the Coast and said, hey, Pokemon makes this. Can you make something like this? Now, this is my assumption. I don't have anything to back this up. But it looks like they looked at the Pokemon thing and said,
We
yeah,
want
all right.
something exactly like this, but magic.
Yeah, and so they made something. I don't know that's what happened, but that's my guess.
Yes.
And I would be surprised if this is actually a replacement for the holiday gift box.
So here's my recommendation. Don't buy this, and don't let anyone buy it for you.
Yeah.
There are much better things you can spend $20, $25, $30 on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a bundle.
Yeah. So, kind of in related news, the Merfolk versus Goblins dual decks that we talked briefly about last week, the ones that were spoiled on the French website, have been confirmed.
All right.
Yay!
I will pick up one of these as soon as I am financially able.
Yeah, so the funny thing, though, is that on the Wizards article, where they did in fact confirm it officially, they included the alternate art that's being included of the Merfolk, and forgot to include the unique art that's being included of the Goblin. So then they had to post that on Twitter.
Oops.
I haven't seen any of these yet. I'm going to go and look, like, right after the cast.
Yeah. So, kind of interesting to people who are kind of more geeks on the wizard side of things, like our own Step here.
Yeah.
Wizards announced a change to their set design philosophy, or not necessarily philosophy, to their concrete set design arrangements, I suppose.
You mean another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, except that this one actually kind of is overarching.
Okay.
So it includes the new play design team.
Right. So they've been rolling this out for a while in stages, and I mean, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but they've been telling us about this in stages.
Yeah.
Basically, the way it is going to work now is that maybe we should talk about how it worked before.
How did it work before?
Before, there was the design and the creative team, and the design development.
Yes.
And so it went through design and then development, and they made the set, and then they passed it off to creative, and they were like, what are all these things? And creative put the flavor on all of the cards, because before it goes to creative, it might be fire thing, 1 in a red, deal 2 damage to a creature, and then after it goes through creative, it's like flaming slingshot, 1 in a red,
that
deal.
would be sweet.
Yeah.
Especially if it had like rebuy or buyback or reverb or something like that.
Yeah, or reload. Anyway, they used to do it like that, and then the set was done, and then it went off to the printers and got packaged and whatever. So.
And then over the last few sets, they noticed that there were some small
glaring
problems
inconsistencies
at the tournament level, particularly.
So these problems sort of, I think, stemmed from the fact that creative and design were getting together a little earlier, and design was like, hey, we're going to need a card for this set that is this thing because we're working on the story now and we need it to be impressive. And then the design and development team was like, okay, we'll call it Aetherworks Marvel, and it'll do this awesome thing, and that was obviously a mistake.
And then they didn't really have people testing it at a serious competitive level to tell them that it was broken.
Right. So that's where the play design team came into effect. Mm-hmm. They were like, okay, we have had our Future League, which is where everyone at Wizards who wants to gets involved in testing the set, before it goes off to the printers to make sure that there's no real problems. And that's like, it was a year in advance, but it wasn't focused testing. It was just people playing whatever they wanted.
And not only that, it was people going, let me see if I can build a spider tribal deck, or let me see how many turns I can take.
It was more about how fun is this set, and less about how does this set structurally work.
Yeah, how broken is the set? How fast can I go off consistently with Emrakul on turn 4?
Right.
Yeah.
And so when it went to public and got into the hands of the pros, and the pros did that stuff, obviously they found those broken things, and that's why we have to have bannings and restrictings and all that stuff. So I don't think they have stopped the Future League, because that's probably still important, but they had introduced a play design set or group who are specifically looking for those cracks.
So they're playing it at a level and the way the professional
they
Magic players, the serious players,
like
would
a
be
pro
playing
testing
it.
team. Yeah,
that makes sense.
So the way their R&D is now set up, they've got the vision design where
they basically come up with the themes and mechanics.
Yeah, and then they pass that off to set design that
put the
designs
numbers.
The set.
Yes.
Yeah, they put they tweak the numbers, they make it work, and then I'm not sure where creative fits into this, but
I would assume vision.
I think creative and design are just sort of working together very closely now. Mm-hmm. But basically, after they've done the numbers, they pass it off to the play design team for 3-month intervals in different environments. So they're testing for these specific cracks.
Yeah.
And that sounds great to me.
Everybody seems kind of positive, or, I mean, of course they would be. It's a public article that they're putting out, but they seem pretty positive about this is kind of what we've been leading up to, even though we didn't necessarily know it. And honestly, I think even just the introduction of the play design team means that things are going to be a lot better than they have been.
I think this is the sorry.
No, go ahead.
the sixth era of design that Mark Rosewater was hinting had been coming for a long time. Like, listen to his podcast or read his articles if you're interested in the history of R&D. But
so for the people at home who can't read the stuff that we're looking at right now, to put it into perspective for you, what this means is from the start, where they're very, very beginning, to the end of the play design session, they're looking at 20 full months. So that's like almost 2 full years.
Yes.
For a set.
Which, honestly, is probably faster than it has been.
Yeah, probably. They have spent about that much time in development for the last few sets, that, as far as I know.
Which is a problem when they're like, oh, by the way, we're suddenly changing the length of standard. Or, oh, by the way, we're suddenly changing the number of blocks in a set.
Yeah, that's where we run into some of these really weird and not great interactions with things.
Yeah.
So, but this looks really interesting. I look forward to seeing how it plays out.
Based on the last couple of sets, and even though Ixalan isn't the most interesting set from a mechanical point of view, the flavor is great.
Oh, yeah, at some point.
It's still fun to play. I am hopeful about the future, because this seems like everything is coming together.
It seems like Dominaria is kind of where things are going to start changing.
I hope for the better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So anyways, if you're interested in reading the article, check it out. It's just on the mothership, magic.wizards.com.
Yep.
And it's called the Vision Design, Set Design, and Play Design. So next up, we're just going to end on a couple of lighter things. Actually, something that we had mentioned a week or two ago, just about some of the Channel Fireball drafts that they like to do. They tend to record, or at least some of the content creators tend to record a bunch of drafts pre-release weekend, and then they slowly get released over the next few weeks.
I watch Marshall Sutcliffe a lot, and it's like you can tell that he's done them back to back almost.
Yeah,
and they're
because
2 weeks apart when they're released. And
that can be problematic in a set, especially when the draft environment is something that takes a week or two for people to start figuring out.
And just not even just figure out. I mean, yes, that's true, but also things do just shift naturally based on opinion during
People
that time.
get bored with what they've been doing, so let's try something new and exciting.
Yeah.
That's true, but it's funny, for the draft for this set, I'm pretty sure he, is doing his second or third draft, so this is now being released, 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the set, and he's like, Pirate's Blade, that's not going to be good in our vampire deck. I don't even know if it's worth playing in a pirate deck.
Oh.
And now everyone agrees that it's the best common and that you want it in every pirate and vampire deck.
And he's been saying that for weeks too on the podcast, right?
Yes.
But the video doesn't say that.
Yeah. So anyways,
that.
A couple of people were talking about this on the Limited Resources subreddit, and LSV dropped in and said that it's, something now that they are a bit more aware of, and that it's definitely something that they're going to think about to change how drafts go up in the future.
Well, that's good.
Wizards, that's what you should be doing. Listening and at least letting people know that you hear them.
Yes.
As much as I'm not a huge fan of Channel Fireball, their communication lately has been spot on.
It's on point, yeah.
Yeah.
They're always very quick.
Yeah.
And even if they don't know what, how they're going to fix it, they right away will say, we acknowledge that you have a concern and that this is a problem. We will get back to you right away.
And they seem
by this date.
Genuinely thankful for the feedback and for the time people are taking, even if they're bitching and moaning about something, which is nice. So
and accrues often on Reddit.
As a way of sort of addressing this topic, this is kind of part of the reason I watch other streamers, or streamers instead of people who pre-record.
Yeah,
even though
people
I pre-record.
Numod, who's done 800 drafts by day 3 and has a pretty solid idea on the format.
And he posts the most fun ones to YouTube, so it's I always know I'm going to get something entertaining.
Yeah.
Or just people I enjoy, like Loading Ready Run, who, draft weekly. That's a thing that they do, so you can sort of see that progression.
I really like watching Ben Stark draft.
Yeah. He is fun.
And Reed Duke, just because he's very adorable.
All right.
And knows what he's doing. So last up, I thought we'd end on a very high note. This week only, on Magic Online, you too can do an Innistrad flashback draft.
Woo!
Original Innistrad, not Shadows. Just in time for Halloween.
Oh, so good.
It's taking place October 25th, so as of today, our recording date, to November the 1st. And not only are they doing flashback drafts, they are also doing a standard gauntlet for Innistrad Standard.
That's amazing.
You're welcome. Go do it now. Everyone agrees that Innistrad is one of their top draft formats.
Yeah.
So once you get the chance to do it, you should probably take it.
Yeah.
The only problem with flashback drafts about a well-known set is that people will just glom onto the fun archetype, in this
Spider
case spider
spawning.
spawning, and no one will be able to get it because everyone's trying to get it, except for one person who maybe lucks out. So
Go humans, dude.
I would maybe just avoid that.
That's what we did last time they had one, was we were like, no, we're not even going to do it. We'll just do something else.
I'll refuse.
Did we do... I can't remember the name of the green rare, but each creature you cast enters as a copy of...
Yeah, that was so good.
This, 6/6, so
Nice.
all of our 2/2s.
We're 6/6s?
Yeah.
See, I think the problem specifically with Innistrad is that the spider spawning deck wasn't discovered, and I'm using that in quotations because it just really wasn't well known, I think, until very late in the format. So
Yeah.
a lot of people just didn't get the draft to play it, even if they drafted at the time.
It's true, but when we came back to, what was it, Cons of Tarkir, everyone was after the 5-color morph deck, and it's the same sort of thing. But
Yeah, but I think now that it's so well known, it's you know,
it was
if you
the
say,
first kind of draft archetype thing that got heavily...
yeah, if you
talked about.
say I'm doing an Innistrad draft, you think spider spawning almost
you gonna
right
do
away.
Spider spawning?
Yeah, so I think that it means that all the new people want to try it because they never got to, and then
Right.
all the returning drafters want to try it because they never got to draft it while they were actually drafting the set.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing's very popular.
fair.
They have said that they've addressed a couple of bugs that happened the last Innistrad flashback, so you should be safe to run all of the cards.
Oh,
Okay.
good. That's good. That makes me feel better.
So, who wants to go draft?
Yeah.
It seems fun.
All right. I guess that's our show for this week.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
All of our links are in the podcast description, or if you're watching on YouTube, in the description down below. Yeah. Come check us out on our other projects.
Thanks for listening.
Have a great Halloween.
Okay, so we've been trying to come up with segments and things that might be fun and that haven't already been done. So I have an idea for one I want to test out.
Okay.
I have a card here.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to read what it does,
Yeah.
and I want you guys to tell me what the flavor is of what's happening in the card.
I don't understand what that means, but we'll go with it.
So what is this thing? All right?
Okay.
So this is a 5/5 creature that whenever it is the target of a spell or ability, put a -1/-1 counter on it.
Okay.
What is it? And what color is it? Color or colors?
I'm gonna go with red.
I'm going to go with black.
Okay. So red and or black. It's a red and or black creature.
Okay.
What kind of creature is it?
Not a Minotaur. I highly doubt that would care.
It's something that gets smaller as every time it gets hit.
Is that what's happening?
Well,
Like, how would you flavor this card is what I'm asking.
I would think it would be something like a giant ball of ooze, and every time it gets hit with something, it shrinks down a little bit.
To be
Yeah,
honest,
that's pretty cool.
I'd probably make it green and call it something that's punnishly related to being a shrinking violet.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
So what is it?
How much would you cost it? A 5/5 that gets smaller every time somebody casts a, or wherever it's the target of a spell or ability.
If it's red, 3. If it's anything else, 4.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That sounds like a pretty fun card. So, Segmented Worm
That's
Oh!
black, right?
is a 5/5 for 3 red-green
Oh,
It's a worm.
that's flavorful.
It's from Tempest. And yeah, that ability. This card is terrible, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Hey, I got the colors right.
You got the colors right.
And it's
And I think it would have been better as an ooze. I think you're right.
but
That
this is
sounds
very
cool.
flavorful because, you know, worms, you know, you can kind of chop off bits and they keep on
Yeah.
going, but I'll stand by my ooze.
I think it would have been cool as an ooze.
Hey everyone, this is just another quick little update before we let you go. We'd like to give a little shout out to Judge John Winter over at the Manaleek and encourage you guys to go over and support him this Saturday on his Twitch TV channel, which is twitch.tv/the Manaleek, where he will be raising money for the Children's Health Foundation. Last year he raised over $700. This year he's going for over $1,000. It's a great cause. He's a great guy, and it's going to be some really fun content. See, even Salem encourages you to go check it out. The links to donate are in our description down below, as well as the link to his Twitch channel. Hope you guys will spend some time with him this weekend, as we will be. Thanks so much. Bye.